Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 10. And before we jump into the mess, may I just say, I'm really counting down the weeks till we get to this reunion because I am dying to see what Kyle, Diana, Erika, and Rinna have to say for themselves, especially Kyle. Kyle, you tried it multiple times in this episode. And it's so funny because in your recent interviews these last few days, it's been a completely different story. So once again, the hypocrisy just jumps out, the lies keep jumping out, and I'm just very excited to see what you have to say for yourself when it comes to this reunion. But let me not go off on a tangent, okay? Because I have more to say later on in this recap. But with all that being said, let's just jump right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. So we start this episode right where we left off last week, with everybody at Sutton's lunch except for Diana, and Rinna and Sutton are going back and forth. So Sutton says, well, Rinna, she told you all that, but did she tell you how she was mocking me and my 2 miscarriages? So Rinna says, no, she didn't tell me that. All she said was that you called her an MFer and soulless. That's all I heard. And it's like, here you go, Rinna. You're trying to throw the cape on and defend Diana, but you don't even know the full story. Then Sutton continues on by saying that at the end of the day, Rinna wasn't at the party, so she doesn't even know the full story. Then she adds that after they were done arguing, her and Diana hugged it out, and she thought that they were in a better place. So of course, here comes Kyle. She has to jump in and insert herself in a conversation that has nothing to do with her. And so she's like, well, Diana just felt like Sutton was being phony. And it's like, well, Kyle, this is between Sutton and Diana, not you. I don't know why you felt the need to jump in this conversation. Like, it's very irritating. And what also kills me about Kyle, she loves relaying some bad news about what somebody said about you behind your back because she definitely got enjoyment telling Sutton that Diana thinks that she's phony. Sutton, in all seriousness, I really need you to wake up, build that self-esteem up, and realize that Kyle is not your friend. Now, I was here for Garcelle checking Kyle and saying, Kyle, here you go again, you're jumping ship. And when Kyle was looking so confused, like, what do you mean? Why would you say that? I'm not jumping ship. I care about everybody. Like, I'm just saying how I feel. And it's like, once again, Kyle, you weren't a part of this conversation. Just keep your mouth shut. Why is that so hard? And you do jump ship. You're a flip-flopper. You're very two-faced. We don't know whose side you're on half the time. So now they go inside Sutton's house, just talk and have some more wine. And I have to say that dessert tray looks so good. She has some fruit tarts and some chocolate truffles. And you already know, yes, my mouth was watering. So anyhow, they're sitting down and talking. And Sutton had gotten a notification on her Bumble app with one of her matches. So of course, she goes and tells them. And I'm thinking, Sutton, I wouldn't have said anything around this group of ladies about my love life. Okay, those women don't like you. You don't need their bad energy trying to mess you up. I would have kept quiet. But since she told them, Kyle is looking at her matches, Erika comes over, and the guy that liked Sutton was cute. And so they all tell Sutton that she needs to FaceTime him right then and there. So Crystal has the phone. They FaceTime Sutton's match. And so they're talking. Sutton is like blushing like a little schoolgirl. I mean, she was so shy and giddy. It was cute. So while they're talking to him on FaceTime, Sutton is freaking out. And so she says out loud, you guys don't mess this up. I really like him. And so he heard the whole thing. I was like, oh my gosh, Sutton. But he seemed like a good sport. He was cool about it. But I was thinking again, Sutton, next time, keep it quiet. And I said, also, Sutton, remember, Erika is single now too, and if your guy has some money, she'll be after him. That little FaceTime call is over with Sutton's crush, and we see Erika order another glass of champagne. Now, this is glass number 3 when she said when she got there that she would only be having 1 drink. So since Garcelle is annoyed at Erika having another drink, she says, Erika, can we talk? And we already know what she's going to be bringing up about how Erika showed her entire ass at her party. So Garcelle starts it off and says, look, Erika, I understand that you were in a good mood at my party. That's great and all. But what you won't do is disrespect a child, especially not my child. So immediately Erika knows that it's about to go left if she doesn't apologize. And she says, Garcelle, you are 100% correct. I was dead ass wrong. It will never happen again. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There was actually a part of me that was very surprised that Erika just owned up and took accountability for what she did. Because I was half expecting her to try and argue with Garcelle and be like, well, Garcelle, I was drunk. It was a joke. I didn't mean anything by it. Like, I thought she was going to be defensive. And if we're being honest, I think that this might have been the first time Erika has apologized since she's been on the show. But then Garcelle brings up Erika's drinking. She brings up the boat ride in Mexico, and she's like, girl, you're sitting up here mixing meds and alcohol, like that's a bad combination. What's really going on with you? So Erika starts coming up with these excuses, talking about how she's on some medication that makes her sleepy. And I was thinking, if we're being honest, like I had said in the recap a few weeks ago, I don't believe for a minute that Erika was actually drunk on that boat. It gave very much a very bad performance. It was just so fake because I've been drunk many times before and I've never said I'm drunk, I'm drunk, I'm drunk. It's evident when you're slurring your words and you can hardly stand up straight. So Kyle's trying to stick up for Erika and she's like, well, Garcelle, I've known Erika for 7 years and she has never acted like this before. Then she goes on to say how Erika has gone through so much in the past year, give her some leeway. I said, Kyle, here's what we won't do. We're not going to do this. I'm not giving anybody leeway if they curse at my child. I don't have kids as of yet, and yet I was outraged at Erika cursing at Jax. Because how dare you? The same way you'd be up in arms had somebody cursed out one of your daughters, you wouldn't be talking about, well, give her some leeway, she's going through a lot. You'd want the person fired. You just don't like Garcelle for whatever reason, and because of that, you now want to come to Erika's defense. And also, Kyle, you defending Erika in this moment proves that what you're saying in these recent interviews are all lies. Because I saw that Amazon Prime interview that you just did a few days ago, and you sat up there talking about me and Mauricio called Garcelle up immediately the next day after her party, and we apologized to her. No, you didn't, because we saw you the next day with Dorit and PK, and y'all were sitting up there laughing about how funny it was. So what are you saying? You're lying because of all the backlash that you've received because these episodes have aired. And how dare you try to act like Garcelle is being so tough on Erika when Erika is the one who cursed her child out. Garcelle was very calm when she addressed Erika about what happened. Because I know a lot of people would have cursed Erika out or probably put hands on her. So for you to act like Garcelle is out of line to question Erika's medication and alcohol use, like, who are you? She has every right. Her child was violated. So if she wants to question Erika, that's her right. So now Erika jumps back in the conversation and she's rambling on and on about the meds and how she switched medications and this, that, and the third. And then she starts laying on the compliments towards Garcelle and how Garcelle is such a great mother and how her boys are just so well-spoken and so sweet and so articulate. And I'm thinking, I mean, that's nice and all, but that's not really the compliment you think it is when you tell Black people or biracial people that they're well-spoken. Because why wouldn't we be well-spoken? And before anybody gets upset about how I'm bringing up race into all this, if you are a white person, please refrain from telling people of color, Black people especially, that they're so well-spoken and so articulate. It's very insulting. I was like, Erika, you could have kept that compliment to yourself. So now the scene ends with Cherie asking Erika if it's true that she really tried to proposition Oliver, Garcelle's oldest son, about having a threesome. Erika says, yes, I did it, you know, and I'm not ashamed about it. So now Cherie says, well, girl, let's clean glasses because me too. Cherie, you know better. And that's your best friend's son. A mess. Now we jump to a short scene with Garcelle. She's doing some sneaker shopping with her twins. And I thought it was so funny because one of the twins, I think his name is Jade, he loves designer. Like, he loves a label. And the other twin, Jax, he could care less. But when they played that flashback of Jade asking her for a Gucci belt when they were 11, and Garcelle was like, Gucci? Like, at 11? Absolutely not. I said, he sounds just like me because that was me when I was younger too, so I get it. Let's get one thing clear. I have always been this way, okay? I was always into designer at a young age. I am not new to this. I am true to this.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
But anyhow, they're looking at sneakers, and Jade picked up a pair, I think that was around like $9,800. And look, the sneaker game is hot. Jordans have always been those girls when it came to sneakers, and especially the vintage ones now. So I wasn't surprised hearing $9,800 for a pair. And they had Yeezys that were going for like $2,000. And so when Jade asked her what the budget was for each of them, and she was like $5 each. And then we saw the end of the scene, she ended up spending $2,000 on them. Now we jump to a short scene with Kyle and Mauricio at home, and they are celebrating Hanukkah with their families. Now remember that Mauricio is Jewish, Kyle grew up Christian, but she converted when she married Mauricio. And I have to say, during this scene, my mouth was watering because Kyle had her housekeeper cooking up some potato latkes, and when I tell you I was drooling, I told you guys, being a New Yorker, having a lot of Jewish friends, I'm very familiar with the bar and bat mitzvahs and all the traditions and Shabbat dinners, all of it. So if I have any Jewish subscribers, let me know down below, because I will gladly come over and have a potato latke. But it was really nice because Kyle and Mauricio had Dorit over with her kids. And remember that Dorit and PK are Jewish as well. So seeing Dorit and PK's kids, they said the prayer. That was really cute. Then we jumped to another short scene with Diana. You guys know I can't stand her, and we're going to breeze right past this scene because not a whole lot happened. But anyhow, she's at home with her fiance, and we learned that her 22-year-old son still lives with her, and she says that that's how she likes it. Now, we also see her son's girlfriend, and if she looked familiar to you, that's because her son's girlfriend is Ava Dash. Ava Dash is the daughter of Damon Dash and Rachel Roy. And seeing that Ava is a biracial woman, I'm curious to find out what she thinks about her boyfriend's mom showing her entire ass on social media and on this show. Now, like I said, this scene was boring. I wasn't really paying attention, so we can jump right on into the next scene that was actually interesting. So we see Garcelle, Kyle, and Cherie meeting up for lunch, and the minute they sit down, Garcelle was not here for the BS. She immediately addresses the conversation that she had with Erika at Sutton's house, and she says, I wanted to have a moment with her, but Kyle, you jumped in. Now, Garcelle, you know I love you, but I have to be fair. I understand that it is very irritating when Kyle jumps in a conversation that has nothing to do with her, but if you truly wanted a one-on-one with Erika, you should have pulled her to the side and you guys would have had a true one-on-one with nobody else there. If we're being honest, I wouldn't have waited till Sutton's lunch to have that conversation with Erika. I would have had it before we even got there. So Garcelle continues on by saying, look, I get it. She's been through a lot and it's been a tough time for her. And then Kyle interrupts and says, I mean, Garcelle, you brought up how she's mixing up medicine and alcohol. I thought it was a bit extreme. Then Kyle goes on to say, I mean, in my opinion, I just feel like she's gone through so much. she's finally being free and open with us. Like, we should be happy about that, you know? She's finally letting loose. And I'm thinking, again, Kyle, on what planet is letting loose equating to cursing out someone else's child? And it's so funny because Kyle picks and chooses who she wants to have grace and mercy for. Because I can assure you, if the tables were turned, if Garcelle was the one acting crazy and getting drunk and doing this, that, and the third, she'd be saying, well, you know, I'm worried about her. Something might be wrong. She would not be saying, oh, she's letting loose. She's having fun. But because it's Erika, for some reason, now it's just fun and games. She's just being free. She's being herself. And they all need to accept it. Garcelle is not here for what Kyle's trying to say. And she's like, look, Kyle, don't you think that that's a problem that could lead to alcoholism? So, of course, Kyle has to be all shocked. And she's like, alcoholism? Really? Like, that's a very dramatic statement. I said, Kyle, once again, you are the most dramatic person on this cast. So it's really rich coming from you about someone else being dramatic. In my personal opinion, I think that Erika is playing up this erratic behavior for attention and a storyline. I don't think she has a problem. If I'm being very honest, I just think that she's faking this whole thing because her storyline has come to the end of its road and people don't like her. Erika is a very calculated person. I don't think that she does anything without a plan. And I just feel like her new storyline this season is, let's act wild and have the ladies worry about me and my behavior so that I can have a storyline. That's just what I think. And Kyle's ability to make everything about herself is just unbelievable. She has a gift. Because when she was like, I mean, look at me. Because I drink alcohol and I'm on medication too. I'm on a low dosage of Lexapro for my bad anxiety. And it's like, for once, Kyle, can the focus not be on you? Every time somebody says that they're dealing with something, Kyle has dealt with it too. So now Garcelle brings up the reason why she's kind of triggered by Erika's behavior because of her oldest son, Oliver's addiction issues when he was a teen. Now, Garcelle, I understand that you have some concerns about Erika, but at the end of the day, Erika is a grown woman. And if she doesn't think that she needs help, she's definitely not going to listen to you or anybody else in this group trying to diagnose her. So now Cherie jumps in the conversation and she says, look, if somebody spoke to my son the way Erika spoke to Garcelle's, I would definitely think that, okay, this person might have a problem. Then she adds on that she sees both sides of the argument. She understands what Garcelle is saying, and she also understands what Kyle is saying. And then the scene ends with Garcelle saying, look, if it's going to be a problem, then let's nip it in the bud. And it's like, but once again, Garcelle, Erika isn't your child. She's a few years younger than you are, okay? She's 50, 51. You think she's going to take advice or help from you? I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this whole thing right here is about to blow up, and it's going to be the real reason why Erika and Garcelle end up falling out, because we know that they don't speak now. Now, this next scene with Diana and Erika, I was rolling my eyes because I can't stand either of them, and it was painful to watch. But anyhow, Diana's at home, Erika comes over, and we find out that Diana is donating a lot of her clothes to charity. So anyhow, Erika comes over, and did you guys see the way Erika was lusting and salivating over all those clothes? If she could have packed up her car and taken all those clothes, bags, shoes, and baubles, she would have. Erika won't rest until Diana offers her something. I still remember how she was low-key dry begging about that Cartier ring a few episodes ago. I said, girl, you think you're so slick, and we see right through you. It sounded like some jealousy to me, because when Erika said, I mean, I had this lifestyle for 20 years, but you know, my life has changed a lot, but you can't put all your worth in material items. I said, sounds just like a newly broke person who once had a whole bunch of money. Because, sweetheart, when you did have that sort of money, you didn't let us forget it. But now, since money's tight, now it's, well, you know, you can't put all your worth in material items. And yes, that is true, but that wasn't the song that you were singing when you had it like that. Be consistent, sis. I'm just saying. It's not about what you say when you no longer have it. It's about what you say and do and how you act when you have money. Erika was not singing this tune when she was flush with cash. After Erika gets done salivating over all those clothes, her and Diana sit down to talk and have some champagne, and the topic of the day is Sutton. I said Sutton lives rent-free in all y'all's minds because why is she always a topic of conversation? But anyhow, Diana now plays victim, and she goes on to ask Erika, why doesn't Sutton want to like her? I'm like, you're the one who came at Sutton first. Do you not remember that, Diana? So now Erika says, well, you know, Diana, Sutton was really shitty to me last year too, so I get it. I was thinking, wait, what? Not the same woman who threatened Sutton last year, not the same woman who called Sutton to see you next Tuesday at a dinner table. How are you saying that Sutton was shitty to you? Sutton had questions like the rest of us did. The only thing that separated her from the rest of the other women was the fact that she had the balls to ask you directly and not talk behind your back. I said, girl, on what planet are you living on where Sutton was awful to you? So now Diana says, really? How did you forgive her? So Erika says, I didn't. And I'm thinking, Erika, there's nothing to forgive because you're the one who started the whole thing with Sutton last year. If anything, Sutton shouldn't be forgiving you. You're the one who was nasty to her. And for somebody who's real pressed to always be around Sutton, even though you say you can't stand her, what are you talking about? I didn't forgive or forget. You clearly want to be Sutton's friend. So all this tough girl stuff, and I don't care about her, I don't forgive her, I don't forget. Like, what are you saying? So now we get to the final scene of the episode, and it is the showdown between Sutton and Diana. They meet up for lunch because they're going to discuss the issue between them and try to settle things once and for all. So Sutton starts it off and she says, Diana, where do you want to start? And Diana says, let's start from the beginning. So Sutton says, okay, well, I just want to know, why did you say in the beginning that I'm clumsy with my words, because you didn't even know me that well, so when you said that, I was taken aback. So of course, Diana's being smug, and she's like, well, actually, I changed my mind, and I don't think that you're clumsy with your words. I think you know exactly what you're saying. May I just quickly say this? It was clear that when Diana sat down for this lunch, that she was not trying to make peace with Sutton. Her attitude, her body language, from the time she sat down, she was not there to have a resolution with Sutton. She wanted to have a problem and she wanted to start a fight. So Sutton reiterates that she wants to come to an understanding and how she doesn't want Diana to be mean to her anymore. Now, Sutton, here's where I get annoyed with you, because sometimes you sound very 7th grade and you are 50 years old. Stop with all this, you're mean to me, like stop. Because if we're being honest, I would not have met up with Diana to hash things out. I'm not somebody who is ever going to force a friendship or a relationship. If we don't get along, if you don't like me for whatever reason, I don't care. I'm not going to sit up here and try to force you to be my friend or be cordial. If you don't like me, that's fine. Stay over there, I'll stay over here, and we don't have to talk. I'm just not somebody who trips over somebody not liking me. I really don't care. If you like me, that's great, but I'm not going to sit up here and be curled up in a ball crying if you don't. Life goes on. And I want Sutton to stop begging for Diana, Kyle, Rinna, Dorit, Erika's validation. Move on. They don't like you. It's just irritating. This lunch, in my opinion, was a waste of time. So now Diana starts bringing up what Sutton said to her at Garcelle's party. So now Sutton says, look, I apologize, I was wrong. You know, sometimes I'm a hothead and I speak without thinking. But at the same time, you also said some nasty things to me as well, and I need you to apologize to me. So Diana's looking at Sutton like, girl, there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to apologize to you. And so she goes and says, so what did I do to you? Now Sutton says, girl, you mocked me. When I was talking about my 2 miscarriages, you were mocking me, making fun of me like you didn't care. So of course Diana can't own up to what she did. And she says, well, do you remember how you said it? Like, you said it like it was a competition. And right then and there, I would have gotten up and left. Because how dare you tell me that I was being sarcastic when I shared something so tragic with you? Sutton is so angry at this point. She's like, look, I was trying to bond with you. I was not saying it in a competitive way. And then Diana goes on to say that Sutton needs professional help in the way that she communicates to people. I said, Diana, the jokes truly write themselves. Because you were caught up in a scandal regarding a Black content creator. And then in your apology note, talking about, English isn't my first language. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it that way. But you have your nerve telling Sutton that she needs help in communicating with people? Girl, stop it. Now, to add insult to injury, Diana goes on to say that Sutton is self-centered and how all roads lead back to Sutton. And once again, one of the most self-centered and self-absorbed people on this cast, and you're talking about Sutton? So here's where I really hit the floor. Diana starts throwing out all these buzzwords saying that Sutton is abusing her and she's very demeaning. And you could see that Sutton was pissed. And then when she went on to say that Sutton cut her deep, and if she told Sutton that she was okay with her, she'd be lying. When I tell you that Sutton and Diana are going back and forth, they're getting absolutely nowhere. And so at one point, Sutton goes on to ask Diana if she wants to make amends or not. And so Diana's like, who are you? And Sutton says, I'm a loyal friend, I'm a hothead sometimes, but I'm a very good person, and I will stick by your side till the very end. So of course, Diana's being just nasty, super dismissive. She says, well, so you say. And so Sutton's like, you know what? Shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I had fun.
I gotta be good.
I wanted to make amends, start on a clean slate, but it's obvious that you don't want that, so I'm going to see myself out. And then she says, hopefully we can be cordial when we see each other at Kyle's charity event, but girl, I'm out. The scene ends with Sutton walking out, and we see Diana wiping away a tear from her eye. I said, girl, what are you crying about? You started this whole thing. You've been so nasty and so disgusting to Sutton. You are nobody's victim. And once again, Sutton, I'm asking you, please, no more one-on-ones with Diana. Let this be the last one. It's not in the cards for you guys to be friends, and just leave it at that. Why do you even want to be friends with somebody who's just so awful? But y'all, that was the episode. I hope you all enjoyed my recap. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.